This video is brought to you by Bantio TCG.
What's up guys, Kartaka here, and today I'm here with a Digimon deck profile. Today we'll be going over the new Gallantmon deck with the support from EX-08. So finally, with the support from EX-08, Gallantmon is finally a top tier deck now. Safe to say, the Gallantmon X antibody is very strong and definitely a card that can boost up the deck to a whole new level. So I'm very excited for it, but another thing I'm unhappy about is now, Gallantmon is mainstream and you'll be seeing it a lot more in tournament tables. It used to be like a rogue deck, but now it's actually pretty, I think it's got a lot of meta potential. So without further ado, let's get right into the deck profile. So for the Digimon, we're running 4 of the Digimon. This is the Digimon from EX2. If you're attacking with a Groundmon name card or a Dukemon name card, you can draw one. So with the new version of the deck, it kind of reverts back to an older playstyle with some newer stuff. So we're not really doing a lot of the DP cap boosting pop effects. We're doing more raiding and just destroying things and gaining memory, which the deck always did, but in the most recent few sets we've been getting a lot of stuff that increases DP caps and stuff. So you can kind of adjust how you want to play the deck. If you want to keep playing the pop build, you can, but my deck is using a more aggressive approach into playing the deck. So let's also go into the main deck now. So for the level 6s, we're running 3 of the Digimon X antibody. I was running 4 in my initial build, but with my with me drawing into this so often, I feel like I can cut one out to run an extra tech card that you can use to fill in some other niche areas when that the deck might lack. So we're running 3 of these. The effect for Digimon X antibody is on evolution and on attack. If you have Gallantmon or X antibody in the source, you can get plus 4,000 DP, and then one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 4,000. So this is not once per turn, so you'll be able to gain 8k if you're attacking with this and evolving on the same turn. And then you can also, on the second ability, it's delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 10k or less DP. And then if you didn't delete with this ability, you can trash the top card of your opponent's security and this Digimon unsuspends. So actually, I think the trash and unsuspend ability is stronger than the pop. So a lot of times you want to distribute your 4Ks so that you either fully delete it before you can go into your swing, or you want to keep it so that you will be able to still trash and unsuspend so that you can continue your play. So pretty good. And this ability also activates at the end of attack, so it doesn't have to be on evolution, which makes it really good. Effects that you can use every turn are also always really strong, so definitely a card to keep an eye out on. And the third effect is, while you have 0 or less memory, this Digimon is not affected by the effects of your opponent's Digimon. So this is really strong protection. Before, for the BT17 Gallantmon, we only were able to have protection on our turn as long as our memory is below 0, which is like on our blitz. But now that we can keep the protection even on your opponent's turn, it's pretty good. Of course, there are ways to play around this. If they evolve and then the memory passes to 1, you won't have the protection anymore. But then a lot of times they will also probably be passing turn. If they're attacking you and their memory doesn't pass, you're pretty safe from their effects, so that you can probably go into Crimson mode to pop them back if you want to. And yeah, it's just the card's just really good. Playing around with it this this weekend, and my friends were like, "Oh, this card seems kind of unfair," but it's not. It's pretty fair. I think it's pretty fair. It's very strong, but there are definitely ways to play around it. Next, let's go on to the other level 6s. We're running 2 the BT17 Dukemon. So this one's actually a pretty flexible slot. I was running the BT12 Dukemon also, which also works pretty well. The card is very hyper aggressive, and I'm actually planning to cut 1/1 so I can one of each. But that one lets you attack trash with that and then go into this one and then trash again, which is very good. But this one gives you more protection if you're attacking and if you don't have the X-Antibody, you can still protect yourself from a counter from an ace Digimon. And then you also get blocker, so if you unsuspend with this one afterwards, you can have a blocker for 1 turn. You have a pretty much invulnerable blocker 1 turn with huge DP, so it's pretty good. And so obviously this Digimon also has the protection, but it only activates on your turn, and also when your memory is below 0. So yeah. And also keep in mind this effect on evolution and attack, so you can pop something 8k or less, or gain blocker and gain DP twice. So it's similar to this one. So they're both pretty good. I'm just waiting for an old art for this version so that we can make him look pretty. And next we are running one of the Gallantmon from BT13. So this one is the secret one. This one is a tech. It has rush and you can reduce the play cost. If there's no other Digimon on the board on your side of the field, you can reduce the play cost by 2 for every 5 cards in you and your opponent's trash. So it's pretty good. And then also you'll be able to attack with this one and pop something 6k or less or 10k or more. But most part, you just want to be able to play this for cheap, and then also have another way to go into your X-Antibody. Keep in mind, the rush is not a gain effect. So when you hardcast this and then you Digivolve on this one, he loses rush. So what you want to do is you want to play this out, attack with it, and then Digivolve into this, so that you can pop trash and unsuspend. If you don't pop, you can trash and unsuspend. So that is my level 6 lineup. For the level 7s, we are running 2 of the Gallantmon from BT17, the Gallantmon Crimson Mode from BT17. So this one is all your ace play. With this deck, we're not really running any other aces, just because this deck is more focused on going into X-Antibody as fast as possible, and so we're trimming a lot of fat. So once you go into the X-Antibody and your opponent attacks you, this is one of the ways to defend yourself. If you don't have blocker, you can still go into this to pop. So it's pretty good. But when you go into this, you do lose your protection, so you gotta be careful. But overall, still a really, really strong ace. And moving on to the level 5s, we are running 2 of the Gallantmon X-Antibody from EX-08. So this effect is you can Digivolve on top of Gallantmon for 1 cost, and then until the end of your opponent's turn on evolution, this Digimon cannot be returned to your hand or deck, and you can get plus 2000 DP, which is another way you can use to gain TP. And then if you have Gallantmon or X-Antibody in source, you can delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 10k or less. So this is one of the ways you can do to pop something on the board. If you really want the trash and unsuspend, you can just try to clear out your opponent's board as fast as possible using this, and then going into this, and then you can probably clear out 2 more smaller bodies with the X-Antibody. Because you do want the trash and unsuspend, and you want to clear out the bodies as soon as possible. So, and the security check +1 that we get is also pretty good. So a lot of times you can go into your Gallantmon and then swing with this with the blitz, and then assuming you have if you have this one and at the end of your attack you gain 2 memory back, you can go back to your turn. So you do your thing, you do 2 checks, and then you can Digivolve into this one, and then if you pass turn, you'll be able to attack with this again, also with 2 checks, and you can also trash and then spend stuff. So, sorry, if you already Digivolve into this, you will trash and unsuspend, so then you can do another attack, and hopefully that's game. So you can kind of win like that. You can do a lot of really neat tricks with with the deck, because there's a lot of ways to gain memory back. You can kind of keep boomeranging the memory between you and your opponent's turn. So yeah, it's good. So additionally, we're also running, of course, the 2 War Gallantmon from BT12. So we're running this one, not too much for the main effect. Of course, you can still use the main effect, but the inheritability is the key part for me, because at the end of attack, if your opponent has no Digimon and you have Gallantmon or Gallantmon in his name, you can gain 2 memory. So you can use this to go back to your turn, which is really, really good. So running 2 of those. Of course, the main effect, it's on evolution. You can delete 1 Digimon with 4000 DP or less. And then if no Digimon were deleted by this effect, you can Digivolve into a level 6 Gallantmon in its name from your hand with paying its evolution cost, and then you can reduce the cost by 1. So it's still really, really good. And then we're running 2 of the War Gallantmon from EX-03. This is still one of the better ones, I think. I did cut out the War Gallantmon Ace just because it's not really needed in this build. This War Gallantmon just helps you get more Gillmon and Takatos out, which helps the deck out a lot. Because we have a lot of Searcher Gillmons now, and this will just help you thin out your deck. So this one's on evolution. You can charge those top 3 cards out of both you and your opponent's deck. And then if you or your opponent has 5 or more cards in your trash, you can play a Gillmon or Takato from your hand or trash without paying its memory cost. So a shame that this card does not have a inherent ability, but the main effect is just really good. So we're running 2 of those. And then for the level 4s, we're running 2 of the Gallantmon from BT19, and we're running 2 Gallantmon from BT12. Now, the on evolution ability for this Gallantmon is definitely better, but this one has the inherent ability to gain plus 2k, which is pretty important. You want to bump up your Gallantmon as big as possible so nothing can kill it. So that you can't get stopped by blockers, or you can't get stopped by something from security. So you want to be able to just bump it up as soon as possible, and you just want to stop really big blockers. So running this mainly for the inheritability, but if you want to run 4 of these, that's perfectly fine. But hopefully you just draw into this one first, and then afterward you can Digivolve into this one later. And we also have other ways to cheat your Takatos out with the War Gallantmon, so we're not too worried about cheesing out because you can eventually get it out. Next, for the level 4s, other level 4s, we're running 2 of the Gallantmon X Antibody. So this was the new one. I think this one's not as strong as the War Gallantmon, but this one is still worth running, especially if you need to dig for combo pieces. So this one's ability is, on evolution, you can draw 1 and then trash a card from your hand. Most of the time, if you have the War Gallantmon in your hand, you're going to trash a Takato or a Searcher Gillmon, so you can set it up for another search. And then if you have Gallantmon or X Antibody in its source, you can gain the ability of, on deletion, you can play a card with Gillmon in its name from your trash without paying its cost. So pretty good. You can also kind of play around with this card. You can attack with this. If your opponent's low on security, you can kind of use this to cheese out a security. And then if it dies, you can just play out the Rush Gillmon and go for game if they have no security left. Or you can play another Searcher Gillmon to prep for next turn and just get more searches if you're lacking some combo pieces. So yeah. Next, we have 3 of the Black Gallantmon from EX-04. This is also a really, really good card. It's a shame that this is not a regular Gallantmon, because if this was a regular Gallantmon, I would run this at 4. But this one, it's still pretty good. It's on evolution. Both players trap the top cards of their decks, and then trash 2 cards off the top of the decks. And then you can return a Gillmon or a Gallantmon or a Gallantmon named card from your trash back to your hand, which obviously is good because we're running very low numbers everything, so we're relying on being able to grab them back. And the reason why we're running so low counts is just because we are running quite a lot of consistency boosters, but also because there's so many options that we can use for the Gallantmon deck that you kind of want to have a little of everything, just so the deck is super toolboxy and you can kind of adapt to a lot of different situations. So for the level 3s, we're running 4 of the Gallantmon from EX2. This one's just your basic searcher. The top 4 grabs a Digimon line card, except for Gallantmon, and you can also grab a Takato, which is great. Inherit lets you pop something 3k or less, so overall just a really solid card. Next, we're running 4 of the Gallantmon X Antibody. This is the new Gallantmon. You can Digivolve on top of the regular Gallantmon. So if you played one and you still have memories for example, if you start off with the turn with 3 memory and you play your Gallantmon, you can still play this one on top of it so that you can get another search in. So it's very, very powerful. Similar to how the old Agumon deck kind of ran. This one's on play and on evolution. You can reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, and then you can grab a Growlmon or a Gallantmon card, as well as 1 X Antibody to your hand. And then the inherent ability is when any of your opponent's Digimon is deleted, you can gain 1 memory. So it's a really powerful inherent ability as well, because we used to only have this on the Gallantmon, on the starter deck Growlmon, but now it's available as a level 3, so it's a very strong ability. And of course, it's also available for the Growlmon X Antibody, which is great. And then we're also running 3 of the BT19 Gallantmon. This one helps you gain a memory if you have, this is your main phase if you have Takato on the board. And then the inherent ability increases the DP popping cap by 2000, which does come in handy sometimes. So we're running 3 of these because we want to make space for 1 Tecton copy of the Gallantmon from EX4. This one's on play if you have 20 cards. If you and your opponent have a combined total of 20 cards in the trash against Rush, so you're going to use a lot of this card mainly to go for a game. So we're running 1. But the level 3s are pretty flexible, so you can kind of mix and match how you want to do it. But I kind of like it this way. Some people are cutting out this just cutting this out, but I think having 1 doesn't really hurt. Now on to the option cards. So we're running 3 of the offensive training. So this is just to help you grab your Takato if you need it, or grab a combo piece. It also helps reduce your memory cost, your evolution cost, sorry. And then we're also running 2 of the red memory boost, just for more searches. If you're lacking a certain card in your line, most of the time you'll be using this one. If you're lacking a Tamer, you'll be using the training. But both of them are both good. And you're going to be using these 2 in combination to just choke your opponent's memory out. So pretty good. And then we're also running 1 copy of the Red Scramble. I really did want to run this at 2, but I don't really have that much space for it. You can cut out a copy of X Antibody for another Red Scramble, but you'll see how many I run. So we are running, this is what we're mainly running for the red option cards. We're also running 3 of the X Antibody. This is the old X Antibody. I feel like this card is just a lot better than the new one in this deck, just because you will be blitzing and attacking after your memory passes 0 a lot. So being able to evolve just helps out the deck a lot. And so I think this is better than Protoform. And so, you know, it's up to you. If you want to run Protoform, that's fine as well, but I just feel like this is better. Next, for the Tamers, we're running 2 of the BT19 Takato. So this one lets you attack after evolution. It's like Blitz, but it's not really Blitz. So this one is whenever Digimon digivolves into a Growlmon or a Gallantmon card, by suspending this Tamer, you can get Raid, and then you can also attack. So being able to gain Raid is huge, because these cards don't have Raid, but you want to have Raid so that you can just beat your opponent's Digimon in. And also, if you Raid into your Digimon and they die and they have nothing else on the board, you can use this to unsuspend and trash, and then go for another attack. So pretty strong. And obviously this one just, you gain a lot of DP with these ones, so you can pretty much raid into any Digimon. If they're delete proof, then you can just beat them to death with your shield. So yeah, very important. I think the card is just really good new addition to the deck. But since attacking at the end of the turn is so important, we're running 3 of the Takatos from EX2. This card will help you boomerang your memory around. Actually, after last set, I was running a lot of these ones before, but since we are not bio-merging that much in this build, I swap back to the old Takato so that I can play around with the memory a bit more, and so that you can just pass between you and your opponent's turn, so that even when you do pass your own memory to 0, you have ways to gain back to 0 so that you don't quite end turn yet. And so this card is perfect for that. And also being able to just gain Blitz is good. So even if you don't have this, you still have this. So you'll have you'll have the way to Blitz one way or another. And then last but not least, we're running 1 of the Takato from the BT17. So if you have Gallantmon or Growlmon in its name at the start of your main phase, you can gain 1 memory. And then at the end of your turn, by placing this Tamer underneath one of your Growlmon, and 1 Growlmon and more Growlmon from your trash at the bottom of one of your Gillmons, you can warp Digivolve into Gallantmon from your hand, ignoring its requirements and without paying its cost. So this one is still really good, but we're just not running that many Gallantmons. We're running this one and this one, which is fine. The good thing about going to this one is that it does have Rush, and since you're using this one to evolve, you do ignore the memory cost. So you'll be able to attack, so for example, if you don't have the Rush Gallantmon, you can still bio-merge this and then go into this, and then you can still attack with it. So it's still really strong, but I think 1 is enough. You can cut this down to 2 if you want to do a 2-2 line, but I feel like being able to blitz is just too important, and so that's why I'm running it at 2-3-1. But honestly, the ratio is totally up to you guys. There's a lot of really good Takato cards, and so it's kind of hard to choose sometimes. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this deck, guys. It's a super fun deck to play, and you know, Gallantmon has never been so good. I don't know, this is Gallantmon X Antibody is definitely a game changer. If you guys want to build this deck for yourself, make sure to use the affiliate links down below. If you want to buy singles, Japanese singles, and you don't mind Japanese singles, make sure to go to Bantio TCG. They will have, I think they have pretty much everything in this list. I'm not sure if they restocked the secrets yet, but I'm pretty sure they'll get it eventually. So if you guys want to buy singles, go to Bantio TCG and use coupon code CardOtakuDes1124 for 3% off on top of all orders above 100 HKD, which is around 13 US. And they ship worldwide, so don't worry. Yeah, but that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below, and I hope you guys have as much fun as I do playing this deck. This is Kardaku, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!